Hello everyone, Solomon here. It's just me. I'm trying to get through my reading. It's super difficult now that I've been exposed to American entertainment. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, video games, porn. So, you know, it's hard to read books. This isn't the 1950s and Warren Buffett over here reading about how to, obtain my first $1 million. This is a dry science book, okay? Very dry, basic book. Chapter after chapter. How people read through physics books and MCATs and SATs. I don't know, you just lose that ability because no one cares anymore. Which they don't. After you graduate, high school, go to college, your master's degree, your PhD, all that shit. You just fucking forget because no one gives a fuck about that shit. It's just whatever you can do for them on the spot. They need you. Like what the doctor can do. Can you sew back someone's arm and, fix them and stuff? Stuff like that. I mean, I'm not even going to go there because I'm not a doctor. But that's generally the kind of value you need to provide to them. And when you're in your nerd phase of just reading books, complaining that you have time but you don't have money, complaining that your girlfriend or the ideal girl is too far out of reach, because she doesn't want you because you don't have money, you're going to be at home. You're going to be at home like this, you're Asian or whatever the fuck, and there's going to be a book in front of you and you're like, I don't want to do this shit. And 9 out of 10 times, that's how it be. Then later in life, people are going to ask you, where's your girlfriend, During that time you were studying and being a nerd and all this shit. And, now you're paying revenge. You get to a point where you do get to decide if you actually want a girlfriend. Or maybe you may have your biases like, oh my god, I spent all this time studying and building myself up and the girl just has to lay there and spread her legs. It's like, what the hell? Well, it's just not our job to you're kind of like, wait man, I feel shafted. I did all the heavy lifting and then she just comes at the end and just takes all my money and hard work. Usually that's how it is. Gold dig. Every guy thinks a girl's a gold digger. That's why. Where was she when the guy was building himself up, when training and studying? Where was she at? She's only at the end of the race. But that sucks. Not everyone's a winner. Everyone would like this girl to XYZ girl to be there for you when you need her, but those are rare. Every guy wants the girl to support them, but that is very rare. I remember the Ip Man movies. At the end of the movie, the wife dies of cancer or whatever, and he did all this stuff and he's like, she never supported me once, but I did my own thing because I had integrity and shit. And your integrity and who you are is what's important in life. And that was just so toxic, for him, on the girl's behalf, just talking about girls. It's just like, yeah, I had a wife, but she was a complete bitch, but I had to persevere everything anyways, because I'm a man and shit, and no one else is gonna help me. And it just that was just like the Chinese way. Why your Asian father, whether he's Indian or Chinese, or they're very similar. Why is he so fucking mad? Why is he so fucking abusive? It's because the mom probably never supported him. He probably had some crazy idea. He wants to be a martial arts master or a yogi instructor or whatever, a guru, and the woman's always telling him to work like a dog and be a slave for the family, and he has all these crazy dreams to be a NASCAR driver, in modern day world, or if you watch Gran Turismo and the girl's like, no, I got kids, just born my children and do all this boring home mesh, untouchable stuff for my family, and it's just like, what the fuck. So anyways, enough with the sexism. If you're a guy, this is what you gotta do. Just the boring shit. This is, you just gotta apply. There's no magic formula. If you're like me, you have the brain the size of SpongeBob. You just have to get through the readings, the material, no matter how boring it is. And it is boring. It is motherfucking boring. This is why kids can't play video. You can't be introducing your kids to cell phones and iPhones and video games and shit all the time, and porno, because their attention span, their brain receptors like dopamine, they're getting a high off of these instant gratification things. But that's not how good habits are built. That's not how the desirable traits are built. You have someone who's reading, learning. Those are like long-term, like slow, dopamine, sustainable dopamine levels. Not like porno, video games, flashy this, flashy that. You just have to do it old school and slow and like sizzle and But things have gone awry. Big companies have been trying to whore themselves and sell themselves to you. And the price of that is your attention economy. Now you can't even focus to read a book. You may be at a stage where you're like, oh, I'm just gonna listen to everything on audio. Audible. Amazon. Or Elon Musk is the Neuralink thing, if that happens to work out. I don't know, but monkeys died and all this shit because it's unnatural. That's not how people learn. Yeah, I'm just gonna download this new book into my head. I mean, it's possible. It's incredibly difficult. Give it 1,000 years maybe, but as of now, people read through using their due diligence, their focus, their time. And that's what you have to do. There's no shortcut. I don't know what to tell you. Again, I don't know about the geniuses or the outliers in the world, but what I do know is that you have to read and reread. In high school, I had this friend called Adam, and he said, he was a smart guy. He was getting A's and B's on the biology test, and I'll be like, damn, how the fuck? And he told me a secret. I would read and reread the chapters 3 times, and for some reason he was taking like 2 showers or 3 showers a day. I don't know. I didn't know I didn't know people like this existed. Like, he looked like a high valuable person. I think he had like a Jewish background, and I'm like, wow, this is a very different perspective than mine. I would just read the chapter once, answer the questions to get an A or a B on the homework, and get the fuck out of there, because I was tired of this shit. But you had someone who had like actual interests in this AP biology class, and he was getting A's and B's and stuff, and he was like a very smart guy at the time for a high school kid. And I'm just like, how the hell do I do that shit? It's like, aren't I Asian enough to be doing this? I didn't have the habits down. I didn't know. My dad was like a kung fu instructor. Same thing, just like Ip Man, minus the famous part. That's what he would do. He would just like do kinestheticsology. You would just like beat the react out of like people like punching and kicking you like Bruce Lee, but that was only good in terms of like the gym, the dojo setting, or on the street. I mean, like what the fuck? It wasn't like book smart. It wasn't like intelligent. It was smart, but it wasn't intelligent. It was street smart, but it wasn't like intelligence. Like, how the fuck do you build intelligence at a time where the internet wasn't that popular? Kids would be reading books and read books, 2 or 3 times. I was just reading it once. I didn't even have that down. And now you have all kinds of crazy games on the Steam engine and using NVIDIA graphics cards, RTX, 3000, 4000 series. Each year they just keep climbing. And the prices of computers and stuff are getting cheaper. Back in the day I was playing Command and Conquer and Red Alert and and Quake and Doom and all these Team Fortress and all these games and World of Warcraft and StarCraft, and it's just like, the fuck, it was like kid's paradise. Now I'm paying the price. I lost my my sense of urgency to be reading books, to learn, and just to nerd it out. Back in the day, we're talking about like after Christ, ancient Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, meditations, back in the day, ancient Greek philosophers, or like time of Confucius or whatever, people relied on their brain, on their attention, on their focus. They didn't have computers, they didn't have like instant gratification, they didn't have all this dopamine hits, cheap dopamine hits, they didn't have pornography, they didn't have video games, and they were smart as fuck, but there are different levels of smart and intelligence. This I'm talking about, like, just reading a book. Let's not get overboard of how intelligent people can get, but I'm just simply saying, how do you increase your focus? Just reading a book. So, there are dangers and hazards of why you should not be playing video games and watching porn, to preserve and to, basically to preserve and help grow your brain to someone that you'd like. To this day, I wish I could read more. I know Bill Gates, for his vacations, goes to the beach and brings a small library of books with him to read. Napoleon, they just recently found, like, he would bring a backpack of books, of like journals and books of military strategy. Back again, all these like world famous people, they can read. They have an urgent sense of urgency to be reading. Like, just like, imagine, like, if I was a Napoleon, I know the recent movie came out and no one liked it, but whatever. I mean, he would I'm not even like in a war zone or anything. I'm just chilling out in suburban New Jersey here. It's peaceful. It's peaceful. I have the luxury, or what do you call it? The luxury, or the okay, I got the luxury or privilege of just chilling. Just chilling, just chilling. This isn't the hood. This isn't the whatever. Of just chilling, But again, I'm a guy. I'm always like seeking like some kind of like competition. Whether it's a game, my thing is video games. Some other guys may be like hyper into like sports and stuff, which is an actual thing, which a lot of people pay a lot of money for. Basketball, football, hockey, baseball. Mine is just. Mine, vice is just video games. I don't know why. I don't know. Either you're into video games or you're into sports. Mine is just video games. I don't know. It's because it's an Asian thing. I don't know. But yeah. So I really don't want to play video games. I don't. I tell people, like, I don't really want to play video games. I just play video games just because, like, I'm a guy. I'm trying to like fantasize, about not being, where I'm at. I don't want to be present in the moment, because I find that the environment that I'm in, or people that I'm with, are just fucking boring, because I can't empathize. I can't empathize with anyone in the room. It's just like there's like an elder. It's like if you went into a nursing home, like it baffles me how nurses, like are capable of taking care of the elderly, just being in that same environment, I'm just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta do other things. I can't sit here all day and wash someone's ass. Let alone like being an old man or something. Like, damn, like what the fuck? How these people do it? I don't know. I don't know. Some people can do that shit, and I think it all goes back to the dopamine thing. A lot of them are like from the Philippines, for the Filipino nurse, or African, but I think they can still do that shit because they grew up in a third world country and they never were exposed to like video games. There was no TV around. There was only like grandpa and grandpa around, and they took care of them because things were so scarce, food was scarce, and family units needed each other. And I think that's the key. That's the key. Technology is actually bad unless you use it to selectively use it for your advantages. And that's the lesson here. And I can tell you not to play video games or watch porn or whatever, but I still have that drive. I don't know, that sense of urgency to be playing video games, because again, I get that same feeling. If you were to step in a nursing home, you'd probably want to get the fuck out of there. You can't relate to anyone. You don't have any empathy for anyone. You can't sympathize. There's no connection. You don't see a connection. You're just like, fuck this. I'm gonna play some World of Warcraft or whatever. Watch Kingdom of Thrones, King of Thrones, or Clash of Clans. That was the mobile game, Clash of Clans. I still see people playing Clash of Clans. Again, it's all because the guy's fantasizing, because he can't relate. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to mentally be there. And that's all because of the attention span, the short attention spans, the attention economy, getting hit by all these like electronic devices and stuff. Like, it's getting harder for guys to focus. It's sad. And people see this in girls too. I like, oh, they want to play Candy Crush and all this stuff on their new iPad and iPhone, and they're a nurse, or a tech, or just just a home healthcare aide, or whatever. And people have the same mentality. A lot of people have the same mentality. I'm just there to get my paycheck. Fuck this job. I'm just gonna daydream and play with my cell phone. The better of the latter are the people who read books, because you're using your brain, you're using your mind to focus on something, and crafting a longer attention span. That's the least you can do for yourself. I know this because I've probably been dwelling in the deep end of instant gratification, playing too many video games, watching too much porn, just having too much fun, just blowing out my dopamine. But why is that? Am I not finding things that I like to do? Am I not taking vacation time off? Today's my day off. I'm gonna finish reading my book just so I can develop the habit of reading at least 1 hour a day. But I'm at my hardest moment right now, just to read a book. And some people may say that's a privilege. If I lived on the Gaza Strip, and I would probably be bedridden right now, having been blown up by the war. Those of you out there, I will not name anyone or any other country, but yeah, this is a privilege. I'm not getting terrorized or whatever. I have my own little room here. There's no asshole knocking on my door telling me what to do. I'm not at work. I'm not being supervised. I'm just doing my thing. I'm just being Solomon Chau. And I have this precious time. I just want to be more appreciative of life, of the resources I've been given, and I want to be the best person that I can. Not only for my, work environment or my community or whatever to look good on paper, but for myself. I don't want to be so like, yeah, I gotta play video games. Yeah, I gotta watch porn, like Beavis and Butthead or something. Like, I genuinely want to be a better human being. And it's a lot harder. You can't be playing video games, you can't be watching porn, you can't be doing this instant gratification shit. My dad used to take us out to, like, drive hours just to go on, like, little trips and stuff. Now I'm not able to do that. Now we could just, with the click of a button, just go on Amazon.com and just select whatever the fuck I want. Again, with the shorter attention span shit, people probably go out less these days, especially with the COVID thing. People have probably become more reclusive, People probably think it's okay to be playing World of Warcraft in their mom's basement, and not going out, meeting, dating, and having kids and stuff. Because it's just so much easier with video games and porn. I mean, like, dating is hard. Relationships are hard. High divorce rate. The girl's always bitching and nagging. The guy's always being an asshole and running away. I mean, like, it's hard. And video games just makes it worse. Unless you find someone who's cool, who also likes playing video games. But how long could you be doing it, Just all this instant gratification shit, and just like, there's just gonna be like a point where you like realize you're being a degenerate and want to change. There you go again, high divorce rate. So I got 2 minutes left on this camera. What other earthly messages do I have? My mom said, she wants to pay for my flight to Switzerland to see my brother, so that I don't think that money is everything. One day she'll die. Your mother will die one day, and that's going to suck, So I live in her home. I never had to pay rent in my whole entire fucking life, and I'm 39 years old, and in New Jersey, so another privilege. But then again, I live with my mom, so I can't invite girls over, or she'll flip out, or do anything super fun like have parties and shit, So it's a trade-off, It's a double-edged sword, but, money thing was never really a problem with me. I mean, would you have parties and be poor, or would you live in your parents' house and have a safety net for yourself? That is a question you have to answer for yourself. I would rather have money and live in my mom's house and have a safety net for me than to, be young, spend all this money on my own private place and just, like, have parties and just, like, be broke all the time and just, like, have this crazy need to invite people over and this, like, extroverted lifestyle. It just costs so much money. And, what if someone goes crazy and starts suing you and it's like all this shit? This is too much for me to handle. So yeah, I had to take the lesser of the options. To just be more stoic. Live in my parents' house. Just because of my personality. I know wouldn't be able to handle it. If someone got drunk and sick and almost died at a party in my house, and the drugs and stuff, and just like, no, I can't afford it. Mentally, emotionally, financially. So with that, dude, I'm just gonna live out my stoic existence because that's more suitable for my personality. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. This has been Solomon Chau. See you in the next one. Peace out.